And we are live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Snaggin Live. It is July 27th, 9 o'clock in the evening. Hope everybody's having a great week. We have Sean and Snacks out on the water tonight with Tanner from A Life of Fishin and his son. So the plan is to still talk about the James River. We're going to finish up our conversation from last week. Stan will be up shortly. He just messaged me. He's running a little late, but he'll be up here shortly. We got 11 people in here so far. I know the bait shop is still going, or at least I think they are. But Jodi said she's going back to fishing, so no more chatty. Come on, Jodi. Link up there. Jodi, if you want to come in, come on panel and fish. Do a favor, everybody in chat, watch your language, please. This is a family show. Appreciate that. We got 351 Cleveland in the house. Honda fishing for Whisker, saying good evening, howdy, hi, y'all. We got Rex saying hello. Pontoon Jodi Catfishing saying can't stop, won't stop. Tag 351 Cleveland Purr. He said not it. We got let's see, Fishing with Steve Mosley says hi everyone. Ron says good luck, Jodi. Dale Hayslip says let's go. How you doing, Dale? Miss Shirley says hey everybody. Come back kid. Have a River Cat says hello everyone. Doug Tally, thanks for coming in. Les McCoo guy says hello everyone. What's going on 205? Wild Action. Thanks for coming in. Uncle Jeep Bacon. What's going on, Jeep? Thanks for coming in, people. Appreciate it. Stan running late. Haha, never. Crappie Day Fish on. How you doing? Terry Lane, good evening. Wolves Den Outdoors, thank you for coming in. Says, hey, y'all. Okay, we appreciate it. Don Johnson, hello. Says, hello, everyone. That's JG Hill. Stan will be up in 2 minutes. Probably. Steve Ransom, what's going on? Chad Daddy, how you doing? Whoa. Butterfly Sunshine. Good evening. I thought I did pin the link to the top of the chat. Let me see if I hit the button anyway. There we go. Now I pinned it. LG Bats in the house. How you doing, Tom? Thank you, Rhonda. Appreciate you pointing that out. We are going to, like I said, we're going to get into, try to talk about the James River this evening. Rowdy Royal. Good evening, Dustin and everyone in chat. How you doing, Rowdy? Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. He says, live fishing right now. Nah. About the only thing I could do right now is come up on panel and sweat. I'm so darn hot right now. Yeah, I bet it's hot in Arizona. I know tomorrow here, the heat index is supposed to be 114 degrees. That is crazy. My daughter's talking about going with her friend out on the James. Whew. Stay out of the sun is all I can tell her. Tanner, you're on live. How you doing tonight?
We can't hear him.
He can't hear us. Okay. They got a lot of traffic. I said hey, live. Say hello to everybody.
We are being swarmed by mayflies. You see this? See all these mayflies? I don't know if you can see them, but there's like hundreds of these things. We're a mayfly breeding facility.
Use them for bait.
Bait?
Yeah, use them for bait.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, you could if you were trout fishing, that's for sure.
Come back here, said, I wish I was fishing, but I got to work tomorrow. JG said, I can work till about 2 in the afternoon, and then that is it for the day. Yeah. Put that guy on a 10-knot hook and see how far it gets you.
moon? Yeah.
Jody said, is he really complaining over a few hundred mayflies? You should have seen last Friday. They had probably a few 100,000 mayflies. It was crazy. Hey, Jeff Beal, have stopped by in a while. What's good? What's going on, Jeff? Piscator Outdoors. Appreciate you coming in. Oh, Sean's doing something with the phone. We got 42 awesome people in here. Thank y'all so much. Rex Wright says, hello, Jody. So we're gonna see if we can get this started. We got 42 awesome. So I'm gonna do my best to talk about what I do know while they're out there fishing, and I'm gonna share my screen so we can get back to the map. And if I'm not mistaken, see if I can do this here. Pop this out. Close that. There we go. Oh. There we go. We ended last time was at the mayor's house. And, oh, looks like Sean and them popped out. So we talked about the upper. We had Austin Fishing Fever talking about the upper James. Just as a recap. And that is, up above. That's up above Powhatan. Oops. Hit that wrong button. Up above Richmond, going all the way up to the headwaters. But yeah, so it starts all the way up there. We made it all the way down past the 288 bridge, which is right there, is where Sean and Tanner are right now. It's not very deep. It's probably at max 15 feet. But like we said, up in the upper part of the James, so they're in the middle upper. The upper part of the James is a lot of flatheads. So they are directly underneath that bridge right there as we speak. And then we talked about the dam down here, right here. That's Bosher Dam or Lowhead Dam. And so this is kind of the cutoff between the upper James, and then we got some area from this area here going all the way down to so there's the Rapids area. So all the way down to the city, right in here. That's pretty much unpassable unless you have a small flat bottom boat or a kayak or a canoe or something that you can fish. But I hear there's a lot of flatheads up in this area from the dam right here down to the islands right here. So this section of river is I hear there's a lot of flatheads. But like I said, unless you have a kayak or a canoe or a small flat bottom, it's hard to get up in these areas to be able to get to those flatheads. And then we talked about the rapids, class 1 through class 5, all the way up in this area. Talked about where I caught my PB in this general area right here, 55 pounder. And this is where we usually fish, in this section of river right here. We have the Port of Richmond, the Rich Marine Terminal, right there. There's that barge. In the picture that's sitting there, and we talked about the flats. There's a lot of wing dikes, which again redirect the water flow back out to the middle of the river. Trying to find the wing dikes we talked about. Well, there's one on this side right there. It's like a little finger that sticks out. The water hits that and then pushes back out to the middle of the river. That's where Stan and I found those articles of clothing that we turned over that were kind of worrisome. And then we talked about the 895 bridge, where there's a lot of people that like to fish this area during the wintertime. Austin and I fished from, this is Falling Creek. We fished this area here and floated back up towards the Richmond terminal during the Battle of the Rivers. And that's where we caught that, I think, right. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Right in here is where we caught that 24-pounder, which was the big fish of the day, big fish of the tournament. And then we brought you down here as a recap again to see the infamous Jimmy Dean's place, Jimmy Dean's sausage. See that? I mean, if anybody, if those of you that have watched our lives, when Robin C was here, we fished this area right here. As a matter of fact, this is where she caught her blue on with a marshmallow for bait. We have fished this area quite a bit from Jimmy Dean's place all the way down to the bends right here. There's a bend in the bend in the river. There's another bend in the river right here, and that's the mayor's house or the power plant right there. So we fished this river an awful lot. This right here we said was Osborne Landing. This is where Ann and Dan and Stan 3 brought up that sturgeon. Yes, I said the S word. I'm sorry, I'm covering chat. I'm thinking about that. Let's see. Hey, Quiet Man Curtis, welcome in. I'm sorry for all the chat. I got talking about the James, and I got buried in the chat and didn't even go back to it. JG Hill, Dale Hayslip, what's going on? James River, that's right. Be my James River. Get hooked on D. Says hello, everyone. How you doing, D? Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Hey guys, busy but listening. Nice shirt, Dustin. Tell Tanner and Sean the Goochland side of 288 Bridge is where the flag 30-pound double came from. All right, I will let them know when they come back in. I'm not sure what happened, but they popped out of the video or out of the live. 351 Shirley T. Question. So where is Long John Silver's that you guys fish from when the river bite is bad? Right here. This section of the river right here. Long John Silver's. So Stan and I have talked about it, and there are times that the river, the fish don't want to eat what you're having. We've been using gizzard shad for a majority of the year, for the majority of the season, but I've also noticed that sometimes they won't eat gizzard shad. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes they'll only eat perch, or some only going to want bluegill. Sometimes they only want shad. You got to find what they want that day. And I think for the James River, bluegill is really a bait when it's in the heat of the summer. Probably, I don't know why. Mainly, probably because it's moving. As long as you live bluegill, live white perch might work too, but it's harder to. But they go deeper during the summer. I hear it's the best place to do a catching on the Upper James. Yes, and we're gonna do one of those. We're gonna get with Fishing Fever. We're gonna go, hopefully, spend a weekend on the Upper James. Myself and Austin and whoever else wants to come, and maybe Tanner. We'll come up there and catch our fish and cook what we have and see how that. Robin C, what's going on? The mouth of Falling Creek is where I got the 43-pounder last week. Nice. Yeah, that's a good area too. We don't fish much of the 895, more so the Richmond terminal, down to Jimmy Dean's place. For some reason, that stretch of the stretch of the river is not a lot of time. We don't spend a lot of time there. It's not one place we spend a lot of time, but we do spend a lot of time around the mayor's house, around these bends right in here. As you can see, my wife caught a 11-pound blue on that area. In that area, I caught my 20-pound flathead in 40-degree water right there. in December. That was crazy. It was my PB. At the time, my PB was 22-pound blue. I caught that right there by Dutch Gap, which is the boat ramp that we talked about last time that has all the buzzards. Ed Evans knows all about the buzzards there, and Jeff Beal does too. Let's see, Rex Wright. Look like a lot of sweet spots. Yeah, there's a lot of places on the James River, like most rivers. Shad Daddy, how you doing? That you can find a fish. You gotta learn those sections and learn. You know, I think Epic talked about it before. You have like feeding areas, resting areas, and stuff like that. So, so no, JG wants to know if we have seen sharks come far. I have not. We have had dolphins. Let me get back to the map here. We've had dolphins. I didn't see them, but Stan saw them right in this area, all the way up by the 295 bridge. And just for some context, to give you an idea, so I'll try to my pin right there. 295, we're right there. I mean, that's quite a ways from the Chesapeake Bay. That's a long way. But sharks, I have not. Now somebody did. There was a big shark upriver before. A very large great white is what was reported. I never saw it, but I have been told that they are up there. Bluegill is a great bait, mate. Yes, bluegill. I think live for us. I know for one of the first times we ever did Jody's challenge. Excuse me. We had a bunch of live bluegill, and we were target heads, and we caught nothing but blues. We caught a couple of too, but like 200 pounds of blues in 4 hours on live bluegill. It was a fantastic night. Can I suggest anyone in chat has a question for Dustin? Either put question marks in front of it or use it as emoji to draw attention. Thank you, Rhonda. Appreciate that. I'm trying to go, through, read chat, talk about the map of the river. So thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate that. Hey, Greg Burgess, how you doing? Good to hear from you. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. In the beginning of summer, the S-word fish jump and look like shark in the air. Yes, I will say one thing. Sean and I have been out there and seen 5 and 6 foot sturgeon jump straight out of the water. I mean, their tail comes out of the at least 2 to 3 feet, and these things, and they're huge. And it is amazing. I had no idea what they were at first. I've seen them all the river. I've seen them all the way upriver. Matter of fact, I think Sean and I, for the Goober Gauntlet a couple years ago, fished this section of river. Matter of fact, we started at Medine's place, and we came down, and we had some splash us here, but we were anchored right in this general area, and one splashed right beside the boat. They almost landed in the boat, and one jumped and landed right across the boat and almost the boat. I was sitting in the front of his 18-foot boat and got wet from the one that splashed us behind it. It was amazing. Sturgeon are massive. Hey, Sean, what's going on? Welcome back.
What's up? Hey, we had some technical difficulties, and we moved some spots. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. I'm talking about the James River, so.
Oh, perfect. We had to get away from that bridge. It was killing us.
Yeah, I showed it. Did you guys go downriver or back upriver?
We went back towards the ramp.
Okay.
We're in the outside bend.
I got you. Once we get done talking about what I can talk about, hopefully Stan comes in here. I'll point you back to where they're at tonight. Yeah, they will. I think Stan was telling me Dan had one land on his kayak. We're talking about sturgeon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it did kind of freak us out. I was talking about the night we had the Goober Gauntlet, and I was showing him on the map where we were when those sturgeon were jumping all around us.
Yeah, we had one lay across the back of the boat, as long as my boat, however long that is.
Yeah,
splashed us.
It was huge.
Yep.
Lance McCoo guys said gonna learn how to do some sturgeon spearing this coming February. Huh. JG Hill said that would freak me out. Yeah, it was not. I mean, to know that if one of those sturgeons landed on the boat, it could tip the boat over, depending on where it landed.
Yeah. They only run in the springtime, though, right? No, that's the fall.
Yeah, I think it's
run,
the
right?
fall. Yeah, I think it's mid to late summer, fall time. Yeah. So back to the river. So this is about where we stand now. There have been known to be, from what I'm being told, some nice flatheads up in this section of the river too. A little offshoot. This is the Gap Conservation Area. This is actually the Henricus Historical Park, where they have replicas of some of the like the old style houses and the smokers they use for their meat and all this, back in the colonial days. So it's a historical park right there, and there's a ramp. Let's see if I can show the ramp or the dock.
You talking about Dutch Gap?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about Henricus Park right now.
Okay.
I'm trying to find that. Man, is this either older or they didn't?
Brian, stick that back in the box.
I can't find the. That's weird. I can't find the little dock. Maybe newer. Maybe this picture's older, but right in this general area, there's a nice little pier. And during the time when bluegill are out, you can catch them in behind the dock right in there. JG said, "I hear you, man." Steve Ransom, JG, the first time my wife went to the James with me, I told her it was a shark.
They do look like sharks.
They do. They do that. They are dinosaurs.
Didn't it?
That fin that you see on top of the water is like back towards their tail fin too. It's kind of crazy if you look at them.
Fast for the boat.
Yeah.
If you Google them and look them up, they got that little fin on the back that looks like a shark, but it's right next to the tail fin, which is crazy.
Yeah. We'll maybe we'll do that when Stan comes up. We'll show everybody what it looks like.
Yeah.
So anyway, so this is where we left off last week. And so we're at the 295 bridge is this area right here. We fish this bend a lot. And again, these are all, now keep in mind, these are natural bends of the river. Now some of these are cuts, right? So we've dealt with a lot of the natural bend of the river coming back upriver up here. But as I mentioned last week, there's a lot of cuts, man-made cuts in the river for the shipping industry, for the for the barges and everything to come up through here. They do this all the time to keep them at least 22 feet deep, so that the barges can float through here. And I mean, they make these blind churns like pros. I mean, you got to think, if you're sitting up here at nighttime and a barge comes through, it's got to make that churn, and so their momentum is going to carry them out a little bit, and then they got to come back here and do the same thing here. So I can't imagine, if you can only imagine, trying to go through some of these curves like that, and it's crazy. So they have a lot of man-made cuts and dredges on the James River, especially this location, which I'm getting ready to talk about. Yes, we do fish the wing dikes. Matter of fact, JG asked if I fished the wing dike. Matter of fact, for last weekend's tournament,
Probably a car.
Stan made the recommendation. I caught it's probably a 10-pounder up there, but yes, those definitely are some nice places to fish. Go down river on the right-hand side of 295 Bridge is a good spot for shad and lunch, and still be able to catch fish off the last column. See, go down river, 295. See, going down river on the right side of 295 is a good for shade and lunch. I'm sorry, shade. I can't read apparently. I'm sorry. Shade and lunch and still be able to catch fish off the last column. Yeah. Yeah, this section we fished quite a bit too. And this is what I'm talking about when I talk about the natural bend of the river. So this right here is a cut. So they cut this because the natural bend goes up here, all the way up here to what we call deep bottom, what's called deep bottom park. Actually met Roger. We met Roger there during a stand day. They came down and fished, and we met him there at the boat ramp. But so this is a natural cut, and it comes all the way back down. So to make the barge travel easier, they made these cuts right here. Again, this is a very windy section of the river down here, the middle section, and so this right here is a natural part of the. And then again, it right here is another cut. So that a man-made cut there, because if you follow the natural curvature, you go all the way up here, and that if you look right there, that looks shallow. It's probably because it is. But you got this natural bend right here, then it goes back down and meets this. So the barges and the big ships would have to go up that way. So they keep this area right here at least 22 feet deep at all times, so the barges can come through. So yeah, so there's two, like I said, very curvy parts of the river right there. If you were to follow the natural curve of the river, right, and then right there, and then right down in here is where you're going to start coming in some of the bigger waters of the James River. Now, right in this area right here, you can only imagine. So when the come and go, and this is a pretty open area right here. This corner, when the tide comes out, is constantly going along the side of this. Then when the tide comes in, it's coming up and hitting this wall. So right in this area, there's about an 80-foot hole, a 90-foot hole, depending on what the tide's at or where the tide's at. But it's hard to fish this area because when the tide is flowing, you can't keep anchor, you can't keep spot lock. It's impossible. So there's a trick that Epic talked to me about, but I haven't got it or talked about. I just haven't had a chance to use it yet. But at some point I will. But I want to really, we've fished this area before, but it's been slack tide. And as everybody knows, blues love the movement, the water movement, the current. So when we're still, you can fish here, but it's not very good fishing. We haven't caught anything here. If anybody knows or saw the 7-hour live that's staying on our channel, this was one of the spots we came. There was a bald eagle sitting on a tree right here.
Right over there.
I fished this whole area right here, and we didn't catch a thing. So yeah, so again, natural curve of the river is here, and then it follows here, and they cut these cuts right here for the traffic, man-made cuts right there. And then you come out into this area, this section right here. Now we're getting into what is, I guess, still considered part of the middle James. You got, this is Hopewell, if anybody's familiar with Virginia, Richmond area. Hopewell, and this right here is the Appomattox River. Hey, what's going on, real-time catfishing? John Parker, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. 22 feet deep was Stan involved in the operation. Oh, Steve, I'm so sorry. You wanted me to go back to deep bottom. All right, hold on 1 second. So there's that. I'm going to follow it right up here. There's deep bottom. And it's really shallow. Like it's like 1 to 2 feet deep right here. Right side on the upper side. See where the trees go from light to dark? Right here. Yeah, that's a very popular place. to a lot of people fish deep bottom area, main channel. Yep. And we have another guest coming in the stream here. Let's all give a big round of applause to and Fishing.
Where? Oh, what is up, everybody?
What's up, Sam?
Hey, Sean, how's it going?
Oh, not too bad.
They're out James.
I see.
So what we consider the middle upper.
Oh man, I had to get some water. Yeah, Deep Bottom Park. And the funny thing, Deep Bottom Park is not necessarily deep bottom. I mean, not necessarily a deep bottom. So
Rhonda says Ian. We got 40 awesome people in here. Oh, I was talking about, when they dredge the channel, they got to keep the channel at least 22 feet. G wanted to know if you were involved in that in any way.
well, you never know. In this section, that original deep bottom section there, that's as far as history goes, that was one of the places they would cross because it was a lot of shallow water. So I don't know where the deep bottom name came from. I'm going to look that one up. That's pretty interesting.
I was going to see if you knew the answer to that, if we knew why it's called deep bottom, shallow in that area. But yeah, I was saying, so we've talked about, we did a recap of last week, and I just talked about the two natural bends and the curves in the river right here, and how that these are man-made right here and right here for the barge traffic. And then we just come out to the Hopewell area, the Appomattox River. I'm just getting ready to talk about the Appomattox confluence here.
Yeah, and as you can see right there, there's a lot of shallow, flat water there. All that is obviously where the two come together, so the sand just kind of deposits in there, and it's huge, shallow flats through there.
You watching that?
Yeah, well, James is first time ever on the James River. Cool Cats, James. We launched over here at Hopewell Marina, and it was time, so we had to maneuver the Appomattox / James River channel markers at nighttime with some with no. It can get a little bit tricky in this area. And then if you come out to this area right here, when you come out of the Appomattox River, you would think, if you look on a map, or if you're on the water, you think, look, I'm right here. I want to get to Jordan Point Marina. That's a straight shot, right? Well, it is a straight shot, but at low tide, that's about 1 foot of water in this whole area. Unless you're in here.
Come on, there's a couple of spots that hit 2 feet there.
Okay, you got me. Lance McCougar said, "There's the S guy who caught the S fish. Let the talking begin."
Yeah, I thought I heard somebody say something about sturgeon earlier, but I was going to let it go.
That was me. Well, Sean and I were talking about it. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, that one was 7.5 foot. That was a big one. Well, for here anyhow.
Yeah. Brian B said, "I'm just here so I don't get fired." Well, gee, thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. Yeah, Want to Be Outdoors said, "That's crazy. You can see the channel." Yeah. I keep going to the wrong map.
We got stuck in the mud. Steve was asking up the Appomattox.
Yeah, up in this area, I think, right?
No, even further. We went up right around, let's see. Oh, I am like trying to scroll it myself. I think it was right before. Where's the first Y? It's right up there, right? We went past that.
You go right or left?
Oh, we went left.
Okay.
So then we came around.
There's the second Y.
Yeah. And I believe kind of in the middle of all that, if you go straight up or straight to the left.
Right in this area?
No, where it gets wider out there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was on whatchamacallit, on
Navionics.
Navionics, it was saying 11 feet. Well, it was not 11 feet. And the tide was going down, but it was right up in there.
Don't cut that light on.
Yeah, so that's that. Let's see. Catfishing Fever Outdoors says Matt, Shirley, Whiskers, Buffett, Stan, Dustin. How you doing, Catfishing Fever Outdoors? Coming in. Want to be outdoors. They didn't get stuck. Dan took them to his favorite shallow spot.
Yeah. It actually turned out, you know, if you do ever get stuck on a tidal river, don't go crazy. You know, the most likely, if you wait it out, you're just gonna have to wait to the next high tide. So it may be up to 6 more hours. But if you get stuck, just wait it out. We waited, I think, about 3 hours. You all saw we made some funny videos. We had a line cast out as far as we could get it cast out. We did end up catching a fish. It was a 22-pounder.
So yeah, so this right here is where we usually launch our boat from when we launch in Hopewell. The marina is right here. And so we travel a little bit up the Appomattox River until we hit the James. And then if you want to go to the big water, right around here, so you'll see, you can follow the channel here. You follow the channel here. Oh, Stan popped out. And this is where you get some of the bigger waters. Now, this is the channel. It's about 30 feet deep. JG said, this is why you take food and drinks to have I am stuck tide party. That is true. Mr. Rogers said, don't panic and start throwing everything overboard. That's right. That's the good thing about being on a tidal river. Like he said, if you get stuck, you just got to wait for the next tide to come in. You'll get out of there eventually. But if you pay attention to this area right here, there's the channel right there. And that's about 30 feet deep. But as you can see, all this is water. So there's a lot of places. There's a big shallow flats all the way through here. And matter of fact, if you can see right there, there's some sunken ships right here. We call them the shrimp wrecks. Stand 3. A lot of people like to come in behind this one right here. You're looking anywhere from 10 out here to this area, from this area up to about maybe 2 to 3 feet up in here. But if anybody can, this is one of my favorite spots to go fishing, and this is where Ryan caught his PB while we were drifting one night, or dragging, is the channel right here. It comes here, but then it curves here. So it gets shallow at this point. Welcome back, Stan.
Thank you. I had to get my battery charger.
And so this right here is a nice confluence where where it comes to a point, and it comes from the deep waters to the waters. So if you can ever find that, and I'm looking at the wrong map again. We're trying to control the wrong map. If you ever find that on a map when you're fishing, that's the area to go to, because, like I said, they'll come out of the channel, they'll come up to the shallows to feed, and they're going to find these areas to do that. I'll talk about the shrimp wrecks a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's 3 of them up in here. There's one there, one there. I thought there was another one somewhere. Maybe there's only 2. Oh, there it is.
No, there's 3.
Yeah, there it is. Right there.
And that's a good point, is that whenever you're going to new water, first of all, do the the Google Maps and that stuff. Do all that, a little bit of research ahead of time. Second best thing you can do is, if you can, at least talk with people that have fished that section before. And even better, if you can arrange a trip with somebody, that's the best way to pick up to learn new bodies of water. Because they're going to know that, even for safety reasons, they'll know like where the shallows are and what's dangerous, and the buoy markers without lights and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, sir. Want to be outdoors wants to know if that is Sean fishing. Yes, that is Sean and Tanner. A Life of Fishing is with Sean and Snacks right there in the background. Let me bring them in so you can see them. There's Snacks. I believe
Hey, what's up, Snack?
I don't know if they can hear us, but I think
Doesn't sound
Evan. That's Tanner's son. Oh, they keep popping in and out.
We got you.
We got
Oh,
it.
there you are.
You see all the fish we caught?
You caught 0. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't see them either.
All right, you popped out. Now I gotta bring myself. Let's see.
The bite's been tough up there. The upriver bite's been tough.
Yep.
Well,
All right,
we
so
got a wind and not working for us.
Huh. Well, hopefully you'll get into something. Wannabe said, Snacks, catch a monster. Susquehanna stands and he keep going to Dutch Gap. Well, Susquehanna scan, that would mean we got to go back upriver. We talked about that a little while ago, but we will go up there one more time just to kind of as a recap if we have enough time in the show. Where are the power lines you talk about fishing? We haven't made it there yet, JG. We are going to hopefully out there shortly. Yeah,
Hey, Dustin.
Yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt you. When you get a moment, Tanner's got a good story.
Wasn't my story.
He's got a good story for you. It happened about an hour and a half ago when we put in over here. But carry on.
All right. We'll come back to y'all in just a little bit. So this area right here, Sean and I have fished quite a bit. I know Stan 2 and Stan 3 and myself were out and we marked a nice fish. There's kind of a triple or a triple. There's the main chain, there's a ledge which leads up to the shallow areas. And we marked a nice sized fish over here. If you've seen any of the shorts we put out, it was another time. I caught a 45 pounder on the FOA rod with a left-handed reel.
Gee, whose reel was that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was the left-handed 10 squall.
That's too much bad.
If there's a little tip though, if you can use either hand, a lot of times since there's not as many people that buy them, a lot of times you can get a discount on those if you find the right time. They can't sell them as much as they do the right-handed reels.
Right. There you go. Good tip. Hey, we got Potomac River monsters in the house. What's up, Smoke? Steve says, I'll be the first to say two stands, Dustin and Sean are awesome about out with questions you may have. I was second guessing my trip last week because of flow. I'm glad to help out any way we can.
I wanted to actually go meet him and everything, and it just my life is crazy.
I can hear you there. Want to be outdoors says I actually like using left and right. All right, cool. The only time I've ever reeled in a fish on a left-handed reel is that day I pulled that 45 in on Dan's left-handed reel. So
Dan uses them and has had both on. So I was fishing with both of them a lot, and next thing you know, we got some. So I fished. Matter of fact, we're talking about the sturgeon. That sturgeon was caught on left-hand reel.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I bet. So back to the river. We talk about the Benjamin Harrison Bridge a lot. If you hear us on our lives in Jordan Point Marina, that's this area right here. Now, there are a lot of big fish caught on these bridge trusses right here. If you go into Jordan Point Marina and the cafe there, they have pictures all over the wall. Big fish caught. And you ask the folks there, where are a lot of these caught? And they'll say, right out here in the channel, right out here next to these big these other bridges. Now, I'll also say that good, you still see it. That current's going between these trusses, that water is moving. So when you have about halfway through high tide or low tide, water out there can be moved quickly. So you got to be careful, got to be safe, got to know what you're doing when you're out there.
And
so here we go.
Part of the problem with fishing the bridge there, though, is the channel markers. Obviously, you can see the channel. And, you know, if you're trying to fish a deeper water, it's hard to anchor up where you can fish with the current moving that fast. You know, pretty much you're fishing directly behind the boat. So it's hard to fish that deep water because you can't anchor up within the channel markers because there's so much traffic that goes through there.
Good point.
And so you end up trying to get as close to the edge as possible. But
yeah, that's a great point. And if you got it, you got to be cognizant of this waterway right here, this channel, because the barge traffic. I mean, all barge traffic that comes up the James River has to come through this point. And this bridge goes up and down, so it's a vertical up and down weighted bridge, a dumb weights on it. And that whole middle section will go up, and the barge will come through. And that's if you're not paying attention, they'll yell at you. If you're close enough, they will yell at you. I mean, you can hear it, but they have horns that go off when they have a barge getting ready to come through. Some people, I haven't bumped in the James. I want to. Haven't found the time, to be honest with you, or the best place to do it. Because, like I said, the biggest, like Stan said, the biggest problem with this down here is you can't anchor up in the channel.
Good, but you got to switch.
So, I mean, there's a channel marker right here. You can't see it here, of course. Channel marker right in the general area that puts you, if you're on the inside, you can, if it's outgoing tide, fish this area right here of the channel. But you may not be able to keep your baits down, and bumping may be the only way to go. I haven't done it yet, but I do want to.
All right, what are we doing? We're gonna make a move.
You got anything else about the Jordan Point area, Stan?
now that's you know, it's a good spot if you're trying to you know, when you're trying to do some you can do some drifting and dragging off the edge of the shallow flats there, because I mean you can see the well-defined ledge, so it's a good spot for that. And you know, like I said, there is a lot of fish, but there's most people, when they hear about the James River and they come to the James River to try to start going after big fish, they'll start from just right there from Hopewell and heading this way. Here I am pointing off screen, but this is just kind of at the beginning of what we consider the big water and the big fish water. So most of the people that are coming here to the James for those trophy fish, this is where they'll come down and fish. Now you got a chance at catching that monster fish, but you know, upriver you got a chance of catching more big fish. So it's one of those catch-22 things.
Absolutely. Now I will say I've caught my initial PB, the 50-pounder that Sean and I caught was right in there right here. The 45-pounder I caught with stands, with both stands was right in this area right here. But that's the only two big fish. I caught a 30. This is a little misnomer, that label right there, 13-pound blue. I caught a 30-pounder on stand day one day using crab off this bridge piling right here. So a 30, 40, and 50 I've caught in this area, but that's really the only big fish that I've caught in this area before. I know there's been other big fish caught. Me personally, it's harder, and Stan and I talk about this sometimes. when you're upriver,
Everybody in ever.
it's easier to kind of to figure out the patterns, right? To figure out where they're going to be, because you're in a more narrow stretch of the river. When you're out here in the bigger waters, and this is, it doesn't like on the map, but this is a lot of water right here, and they have a lot of places to hide, a lot of places to go, and it's harder to find them when you're up here.
It's well over a mile wide right there. I think it's like a
Right.
mile and a half wide, I believe.
Yep.
I could be wrong, but it's a pretty good distance across right there.
Brian B said, facts. At my bridge I fish, it's definitely heavily used, and no way you can fish that channel unless it's wintertime. Yeah, I don't know. The barge traffic, is it slower in the wintertime on the James, or is it probably about the same?
Barge traffic is about the same, but all the other, you know how many people, there's always somebody fishing the bridge there. So
yep.
That at least gives you, you know, a lot of those people aren't there in the wintertime.
Right. Missy Kennedy said, is it just here, or is the fish not biting as good for everyone? The butt dinks. I don't know. Somebody said earlier on yesterday's live that they're catching some big ones on the James. I haven't caught anything. 50 a couple weeks ago on Jodi's show, or after Jodi's show on James or Ed's show.
I'm ready to move. Yep.
But I haven't caught anything monster. I mean, Stan 3 caught those fish 3 weeks ago, but
Dustin, we're gonna make a quick move. We'll be back in a second.
all right.
Yeah, typically this time of year, you know, the fish are moving a lot right now, or they've already moved and they're just in different spots. So, you know, water temperature, I believe last I heard, did they give any water temperature updates? I think up in the mid 80s last I heard.
Last time I checked, they haven't said anything. I didn't ask either. I should have asked that. Oh,
So,
Dan's Goobertime TV or Goobertime TV, good Goobertime Guide Services in the house saying 65 pounder last Friday night.
yeah, so, you know, they're going to be searching for faster, cooler waters. So what that means is that when you've got this much shallow water right there, that's going to heat up really quick.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great point, and that's another reason why the power lines is such a popular. A lot of deeper water out in there, and the water stays cooler. And correct me if I anything wrong, Stan.
Oh no.
Uncle Jeep says. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Nice to say. Uncle Jeep says, so where commercial fishing dock that Stan 3 and Dan go to fill the live well up with big fish to catch during a live stream.
That's further on down by Jamestown.
He said, and do you have a snack bar at this commercial dock?
They serve bacon.
I was thinking the same thing. There, Dan said, that's another good point. He said, Dan said the power lines are also loaded with mussel beds. We talked about that last week about the chicken, the use of chicken, and upriver near the city. There used to be a bunch of mussel beds up there, but they're not there anymore. So Dan, in your experience, does chicken work very well down by the power lines? Not as a main bait, but just as a general bait. JG said, I think you answered while I was typing. JG said, with it being super hot, where do the cats go in the James? It's not very deep. Well, yeah, this upper section of the James is not very deep.
Don't let it fool you. Like, you know, you hear me say about the Devil Cat hole. That is 60 foot deep right there. And there's a few holes right through there, 60, 50. Down by Dutch Gap, that whole stretch through there, 40 and 50 foot deep. You know, even as you go upriver, there's deeper spots. So right. Even the channel right through there, the channel's semi-deep, but there's so much shallow water that gets heated up that'll be a pretty, the water there is, water temperature there is going to be definitely warmer. Plus there's the paper mill back there, which will shoot out, you know, it's shooting 90-degree waters out, and that's not going to help either. So
Dan said he's never tried chicken downriver. He likes to have white perch, shad, and sometimes eel.
yeah.
So
See, I don't know. I don't know about the whole mussel bed thing. That's just me.
Right.
Because the more that I've researched it, like they can break down, like they can detect what bait it is based on the amino acid profile. Like they don't, it's not like they're a swimming nose. They're called a swimming tongue, because that's kind of what they're doing is they taste the water. And I can't remember how many thousands and thousands of taste receptors that they have, but that's how they pick up scent, is by detecting it. And they can break down, so they know what gizzard shad is based on the amino acids that are in gizzard shad. They break down white perch, whatever. They can tell which baits have more of certain different amino acids in it, and some amino acids are better than other ones. Proline and yeah, I know. My wife's like, leave that for Epic. But anyways, I was reading a lot on it, and certain amino acids actually activate the catfish to eat. That's one of the thoughts in Jello actually working, is that it, Jello is made from gelatin, collagen, and it has some of those amino acids in it. But anyways,
nice.
That's getting a little off topic.
It's all good.
I don't even know how we got on. Oh, the chicken and the mussel beds. But yes, chicken has those amino acids in it, so the catfish can detect it as a protein source.
Right.
So I don't know if they necessarily know that they're eating chicken, or they know that they're eating a food source that's high in amino acids that they desire.
Right.
But anyway.
Yeah, David Smith said the paper mill, is that the mayor's house? No, the mayor's house is a little farther upriver. We talked about that a little while ago. Now that's farther upriver, past 295, back up that way. Uncle Jeep said, on a serious note, you mentioned mussel beds. What would you mussels as bait if you could get it?
Yes. Yeah, if you're allowed to use mussels, a lot of the rivers won't let you use them because they're one of the best things at keeping the river clean.
Right.
They actually have programs where they're trying to reinstate mussel beds and reestablish. Yeah. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, I hear they're trying to reestablish them up by the city.
There you go.
Dan said shrimp tends to work well near mussel beds. Yep. He said Stand 3 and him found a shell of fish feeding on mussel beds on the Rappahannock, and they wanted nothing to do with chicken. Huh.
Yep. I used to, that was one of the things that I had read and heard also, and it made sense because it is kind of shaped like it and looks like it, but the more that I read about it, it's different. It's got a different protein amino acid profile, different protein profile. So
yeah, it was a theory. It was a theory I'd heard, and I just
it's a well-known theory, and a lot of people go with it, and it works. It's one of those things. It works for certain people in certain spots and not in others. But yeah, I used to think the same thing, and I when I started doing a lot of reading about it, some people, half will say yes and half will say no. So
right. So back to the river a little bit. So Jordan Point Marina. So this is where we start going to the lower side, James. Can oysters work really well? Or can oysters work really? Is that a question? Or is that saying canned oysters?
Is that can as in noun or can as in verb? English. English by SNL. Let's see.
I am not the right person to take English stand.
I think 922 is saying that canned oysters.
That's what I'm assuming he's saying too.
Yeah. I would try clams. I haven't done it really. I did try I did try soaking chicken in clam juice at the dock, and it didn't really work very well because they have mussel beds there out in front of the dock, out towards the channel.
Right.
But it didn't do like I thought it was going to. So, but I would try clams if I was going to fish some mussel beds.
There you go. Yeah, like as I was saying, this section right here from Jordan Point east is what I would guess would consider. I think it was on Dan's when they talked about it before, when y'all talked about it, the lower part of the James.
Yeah.
So, you know, we talk about all the way out to the bay. So we've talked about, you know,
and you can see how much bigger that just got through there.
Yep. So this right here, I don't remember what that flag is for, but Wilcox Landing Fishing Pier. So right in this area, there's the main channel, and there's a creek. I believe that is Herring. Yep. So that's why that's there. This is Herring Creek. This is where my dad and I fished back in 2019. And this is the farthest east I've fished on the James River. So
Well, you almost made it to the power lines.
Almost. The one time my dad and I, so the monster hunt, when you and Stan 3 were out there during that windy Saturday, my dad and I were out here on that same Saturday because I wanted to go down here to scout this area for Sunday when Sean and I fished. But the wind and the waves were bad. We got to right about this bend right here, and I turned around and went back.
And Dan, that was with the three of us were out there, and it was.
Oh, okay.
We went out the day, but we fished for like the whole day before and into the next day. And
Dan, if you want to come up and talk, you're more than welcome. He said, "Ooh, you're a lot of good stuff." Let's see, 922 said, and I was a minute behind in. Oh,
a minute behind in chat. There you go. But speaking of Goober Time Guide Service, there is the live that Dan, myself, and Chris from Catfish Clothing did on it. And there is a link in there that Dan has a lot of the boat ramps, all the boat ramps and different things like that labeled off and in a documents thing. So that link is in his. So if you haven't checked that out on Dan's channel, Goober Time Guide Service.
I got it. Yeah. So we're just going to give a basic overview of this lower part of the James. Again, because I'm not as familiar with it because this is as far east as I've gone down the river. And two, we've already gone over our 10 o'clock time. Not that we have anybody so we can keep going, but I don't have as much details and juicy information for the lower part of the James. And that's, why I'm glad Stan decided to come up because he might have a lot more information than I do.
Well, the biggest thing is as we move further down. Obviously, you're talking about it. You're getting closer to the bay. You're getting closer to saltwater. Back up there, where we were talking about the paper mill and stuff. There'll be huge amounts of mullet that come all the way up from saltwater. And you can catch mullet in there. So the further you go down, you'll start to catch some saltwater fish also, like some croaker, and the crab is just all up and down the river. But we went out, Dan, myself, and I think it was Haz that was with us, and we caught striper, flounder. I think we caught skate. We caught catfish. Like all in the James River. And, as you keep going on down further, even the James River Bridge and whatnot further down, you got redfish and it turns more saltwater. But as you can see, the water is a lot bigger. There's a lot more water volume. There's a lot more places for there to be more bait. So most fish tend to get as big as their environment. So this is why this section down here, this lower James, it's deeper water, it's cooler water, it's got more current, it's got more fish to eat. This is why you'll see people catch bigger fish. Not saying that there's not any that make it upriver, but the majority of the bigger fish, like your 80s, 90s, 100s, they're down this way, just because they can live there better. They don't have to go to other places because they have everything they need in that area. So, you know, they may do a little bit of traveling up and down, but that's why that's the big difference as you keep going down further.
So is the power lines, are they past this two bends, right?
Now, let me see. They're by the by Wilcox Wharf, the dock. So where are we at here? Yeah, you're down to the Chickahominy already, so you got to go back upriver. You were almost there. There it is. It's that the green.
Okay.
Wilcox Landing Pier, and just to the right of those is the power lines.
There's an island. There they are.
Yeah.
See, Goober Time Dan said, Hopewell and below, you've got to know how to read the river, how the tide changes the river, and have the rope.
Yes, without a doubt. Dan and I got in a bad situation out there in just the middle of a sunny day, and it just turned quick, and it was 4 or 5 foot swells, and every wave was shooting water up into the boat, and it came on like that. The wind will just come out of nowhere.
Right. Yeah, that's why I would never go out there by myself. I probably wouldn't want to go out here without somebody who hasn't been out there before. So we knew it was coming, but the fishing was too good to leave.
Yeah. Yeah, we were tripling up, quadrupling up. It was just fish after fish after fish.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to come out here one night or make a weekend out of it and come up here and fish this section. So fish this section of the power lines, because that's definitely a kind of a bucket list item for us that Sean and I have talked about.
Well, and the other good thing about up there is you can see how it goes right there where you're going across by the power lines. That power lines to the left and to the right, there's more open water. You can see some of the deeper areas off to the left, and then it kind of chokes down right out in front of the dock. Yeah. What's one of the big spots that you can fish is choke points. So you can see how not only that, but you got the outside bend there. You got it narrowing. Yeah. So there's all kinds of reasons why it's a good area.
Yeah. So you keep going a little bit farther east. There's another choke point right here. I think there's a pretty deep hole, I think, right around this area right here too, because I mean, of course, it's a bend. This is where that first bend comes out. There's a deep hole right in here. At least I saw it on Navionics before.
And there is actually a sturgeon point somewhere through here. I believe it's down a little further, but yeah, there's Fort Pocahontas.
Yep.
And then you can see that's kind of a narrow channel through there.
Yeah, a little shallow right in there. Stay off in here. Oh, they must not have very good pictures of that area. There's the Chickahominy. That's where the Chickahominy dumps into.
And off to the left over there, you can see kind of like a creek mouth there. That's, we have them over here all the way up to the left. That there too. But that's kind of, when you hear like fishing the creek mouth, that's kind of what you're doing. You're fishing right there. You're fishing. It's where, yeah, exactly. So you've got water coming down and up, and especially with tidal rivers, so that water's going up in the creek and then coming back out, and it's pulling everything back out of the creek. So that's
so it's all the same water.
Yeah.
It travels up this river and down this river, goes up these creeks and then back out in these creeks. No further.
Yeah. Hog Island is about 5 miles down from the Chick. Yep.
There's Dancing Point. There's the entrance to the Chickahominy. You got Two Rivers Country Club. So I hear there's a pretty nice area right up in here. If I'm Dan's, when y'all did your show, there's a pretty good area right up in here too. There's Pig Point. But so I mean, like he said, you can see how this contrasts. I mean,
Yeah, you can't even see our river up there.
right. I mean, we'll zoom out to right about here. You're hard pressed to see the sections right here, but then you get out to look at that. It's like a whole nother river.
Yeah.
There's Hog
That's
Island.
almost, looks like the Great Lakes almost.
There's Jamestown, the old Jamestown. Very first time I ever owned a boat, we traveled from Dutch Gap all the way to Jamestown in a boat, and then back.
Probably quicker than taking 64.
And definitely quicker than taking Route 5.
Yeah, definitely quicker than that.
So I've been down this area before once, but I've never fished down in this area. And I remember traveling down, I think it was right in this area where the water really opened up in my depth finder, and the water was at 100 feet. And I swore my depth finder was wrong. I asked a couple of people whose some family lives out here, and they're like, yeah, it's that deep.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve said, where is Hog Island? Yep, that is right there. Sorry if I missed anybody's comments. Goober said there is a secondary channel on the inside bend too. If you're talking about up in here, I know there's one there. So it looks like,
and as you can see, they don't always show up on or whatever, but
Dan said dancing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Dan said Dancing Point has some interesting history.
Oh, that's one thing about that whole area there. You know, Jamestown. You're talking one of the earliest settlements in the country. So,
right. But again, there's the Chickahominy. A lot of people love to fish the Chick. I've been up in this area, but there it is. I've been up in this area somewhere. In my boat, this area.
There's Chickahominy Lake that's up that way, and that goes the Chickahominy goes up, and there's actually a dam. And
oh wow, yeah, I've never been up. Like I said, I've been up to the there's a not a trailer park, but a camping place area that I've been. But yeah, so you get out here to this bigger water. And I will tell you, when we were traveling, so again, it was my very first time and you're used to looking at the channel markers, right? You're trying to find the red and the green channel markers to make sure you stay within those and stay in the channel. The farther you go, the wider the river gets, the farther apart the channel markers get. So I was like, am I going the right direction? Where am I going?
yeah, it's pretty much big. Once you get down that way, it's like a lake. You can't really tell based on the shore.
Right. And there's a ferry, if I'm not mistaken, right here. The ferry is right there at Jamestown.
Yep. Dan and I fished through there. And don't go close to that. Don't try to anchor off close in there because they'll get pissed at you there too. They'll chase you off.
There's a Jamestown pier up here too, isn't there? You can fish from. That's usually pretty good fishing.
Yeah, it's somewhere in there. I don't know exactly where.
That's the old Godspeed, the old replicas. Susan Constant for Jamestown. So yeah, so there's the ferry there. The ferries people back and forth across to Jamestown, Scotland ferry. So that's the route it takes right there. And then of course you get back out down into here. What's that? Cobham Bay. You're still technically in the James River, Hog Island. And you got this last bend, and that takes you. There's Norfolk International Terminals.
Yep. Now you're talking saltwater and then the bay.
Yep, that takes you all the way out to Virginia Beach, Chesapeake Bay area. So there's the entrance to the bay, right there. So that's the James River. I mean, that's I don't have my facts and numbers in front of me because I was thinking some other things before. What do you say? The length of 148 miles to the bay.
What's that?
The length is 348 miles from the headwaters to the bay for the James.
Yeah, it's 100 and some miles from Richmond.
Right.
Then the total length of the James, like 410. It's a little over 400 miles.
444 miles.
One of the biggest rivers, all contained in one state. The James River does not leave the state of Virginia.
Yeah, it's 348 miles to the Chesapeake Bay. It is the longest river in Virginia, and if you count the Jackson River, which is one of the headwaters, that's when you get to 444 miles.
Yep. And it's one of the few rivers that I think it's the only one that has Class 5 category rapids in city limits in the major city. So it's in the city of Richmond. There's a Class 5 category rapids.
It's the river in the country, I believe, that has all 5 categories of rapids.
Yeah. It goes. It is one of the biggest tributaries of the Chesapeake Bay watershed system. You got the James, the Potomac, Susquehanna
River,
York River. York is I've done a lot of crabbing and such on the York River. We've caught some flounder and croaker and spot, and also some catfish.
So ReelTime said, legend has it that the devil danced there and grass would never grow after that day. Google Maps kind of squashes that.
Yeah.
That window point or dancing point. Gotcha.
Virginia Beach, 50 jellyfish per person. Stinging a little.
Cindy, thanks for coming in. How you doing? JG Hill said, Dustin, where you fish most of the time, is there a current ditch you can fish? I don't think we fish up in the city now the majority of the time, and like we talked about before, the water kind of raises and lowers up in the city. There's not really I mean, the river can flow. As far as a ditch goes, I don't know.
All depends on what you mean by the question, JG.
That is true.
Go ahead.
I would say the one place that comes to mind was that point right out by Hopewell, right here, where the water comes up. Right here, up by the so the current really tears this over that 90-foot hole is right there.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what he's talking about, that's the one place I can think of where the current really tears into that.
And a lot of the man-made, where they cut off the loops and made the shipping lanes through there, that up by just down from Dutch Gap, between Dutch Gap and the one that cuts off Deep Bottom there, that little, we called it Smith Rock, but that little cut through there, the the current gets going through there also.
Right here.
Yep.
Yeah, and that water's shallow up and through here. I can get about 2 feet deep for a long period of time up in here, all the way up to deep bottom. So you really got to know. Really got to know your waterways. Study the maps and study where you're going, because, like I said, Sean and I went out there one time, and we were traveling. Luckily, we're in his boat, but we were going towards deep bottom, and we didn't know much about it. And then we looked at the depth finder. We're like, "Oh wow, we're only in 2 foot of water." So,
and with it being a tidal river, there is constant up and down, so it's dragging trees and branches and everything in the water. And just because you were fishing there last week and it was clear, there may be high water, and next thing you know, there's a tree deposited just down from a wing dam that was never there before.
You find it too.
Yeah. And you may have fished there for 5 years with nothing being there, and all of a sudden there'll be a tree there, and it's shallow water.
So yeah, this is where I think 922 was talking about earlier. This is the mayor's house. We talked about that a little earlier as a recap. So this is a section of river that we have fished an awful lot. Matter of fact, this is where Two Stand first met Sean and I and went fishing with us right here, and taught us all about the gill net, how to use that. Showed us that we were fools for not having any weights on it or any floats on it. Just because we didn't know. And then there's a little piling right there. Look, that might be our boat.
Look, there we are. That's our boat. That's
So
Dustin jumping off, getting the net.
We had set the gill net over here, and then something got in it and brought it all the way over here and wrapped and went through these steel pilings on this whatever the steel girder is, and went through the steel pilings and wrapped up in the steel.
That was something. That was something big. I would have loved to have seen what that fish was, how it got out. Well, I'm sure it used the pylons there to get out, but it got in that net and just it took the net like that, the buoys on the ends, and it took off with it. So I would have loved to have seen what that fish actually was.
Absolutely. Dan said, that's why I missed the show tonight. I hit flat and had to fix my motor.
Oh, and the biggest thing is safety. That's right, Doug. That's where we met Doug and his son a long time ago, before they were doing YouTube. Nice. I think we ended up. You imagine that Stand 3 had some bait, so I think we ended up giving them some bait. But that's
Hey Eddie G, what's going on? Come in, man. He's to give you the deuces. JG said, have you found any trees in the river that have been around for a while? Good place for flatheads.
Yep.
I mean, I've seen some, but go ahead, Stan.
No, I was just going to say that's a big part of the upper James, is the trees down in the water. With it being the tidal section of the river, most of the trees, unless they're going out into the channel, it's not a big flathead area, because it'll come, with the river dropping so far, it'll come way out past where the down trees are at. Yeah. So it's not enough sustained depth of water to keep them there.
Fishin Fever, welcome in, said, I met Sean on the Instagram river. But does anybody have any questions or any other questions about the James River that maybe we didn't cover something, or Maybe they're just something that they know that they want to share with everybody else, or is there something that they have a question about where we fish, how we fish, anything that they want to throw out there? We're more than welcome to take questions. Let's see. Steve Ransom said the flood last I seen almost full trees floating downriver. Yes.
Yeah, that's why I was saying that at night, during the day, it would be okay, but at night, with it like that, you'll have those trees coming down, and you won't even be able to see them. So you just got to be careful with it.
Yeah, and if you have an anchor out at night, one of those big tree limbs catches your anchor line, it can pull your boat under.
That is one of the good things about the never lost anchors. Yes, it's so that you can retrieve your anchor, but part of that is also a safety thing. So if one of those big trees hits that, a lot of times that'll snap that.
Zip tie.
What's that?
Zip tie.
The zip tie. Thank you. So, and it'll, start pulling the anchor from the other way. So it'll actually help you with that.
Right.
It'll give you enough chance to at least like get the rope cut, or maybe for the tree to come unstuck, whatever. So.
JG said, when are y'all fishing together again? Stan has not fished in 2 weeks. Man is jonesing.
I know. It's been crazy. Well, we've between life and birthdays and 4-H shows and oh, by the way, I just got your message before. Yeah, she can stop by and get something if she needs to.
Oh man. So if see, Jeep said, yeah, are there any distilleries on the river? I know Kentucky has that covered on their rivers in spades. No.
I don't know. I don't know of any. There is some good ones in Virginia, but none that I know of on the river.
Jeep, if you want a prospect, I mean, you might want to come down and see if you can start one on the river. I'm sure you get a lot of business.
And part of you hear us say about the bank spots, like where the green arrow is right there. That's a little. There's a dock that goes out there. Up here, it's more of a. It's not quite a pier, but it's bigger than a dock. You can see it right there. They call it the Fishin pier, but the ones off to the right, those are all private. So you got that one little area there. The boat ramp to the left, you're not supposed to fish by it. Like that's just for launching boats. And then it's, private land just down from there. So the point I'm trying to make is, you hear us a lot of times with, there is not a lot of accessible fishing spots, bank fishing spots, especially ones that you can like go pull up in a parking lot and just fish. Very, very, very few of them. Almost all of it you'll see is a lot is private property, and then the ones that is public property, it's just tough to get to, and there's just no fishing access on it, bank access.
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to reach out to Sean, see if they were still out there fishing.
Hey,
Big Slim on Austin Fishing Fever said, remember to hit that like button if you want to come a Whisker Warrior when you hit that dollar button. Appreciate that, Austin. Yeah, Big Slim in the house. Uncle Jeep said a river boat through Margaritaville. I like it.
That's right. You got the Goober Gang on Dan's channel on Goober Time Guide Service. You got the Fever Believers, the Whisker Warriors. I believe we're leaning. We haven't officially done it yet, but I believe we're leaning towards the 2 crew. But we'll see. We'll see.
Austin said, I use my boat to get to the bank spots.
Yeah. That is one of the ways to get to some good bank spots is a boat.
Miss T saying hello to everybody. So on that note,
Sean just put an unstoppable short out there.
Just a real quick shout out to all of our whiskers. We have you have Austin Fishing Fever, we have Brian B Catfishing, we have Robin C, and we have Nina's Kayak crew, our 4 Whisker Warriors. Thank you all so much for signing up and becoming Whisker Warriors. That all that helps out the channel, and we like to go out there and help out other people. So that money will go to good use. So thank you again. Thank you for everybody in chat that has come in to have conversation with us. I say it every time, but it doesn't get old because it never do this for you. And we really appreciate you guys coming in and chatting with us and asking questions and engaging the conversation. This is all about. Special thanks to Two Stands for coming up as always, keeping the conversation going. You do a great job. We really appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you, thank you.
Anything you want to say on your way up?
No, 8 o'clock tomorrow night, the Friday night cat chat, and thank you, John. John Parker's been dropping me some. He dropped another good one today of thumbnail or different things. So thank you, John. I like the Captain Sturgeon one he did for me a week or two ago. I like that one. That's pretty good. But 8 o'clock tomorrow night, and then right after that at 9 p.m. will be the Pontoon Jodi Flathead Challenge. It's been a couple tough weeks. Even on Stand Day. Stand Day was won this past week by Murillo. But then you had the Pontoon Jodi Flathead Challenge where Tom won it convincingly with a 0.86 or something.
It's like a 9-ounce.
Yeah. Just tough. And people were asking that before. The fish will be feeding somewhere. It's right. Just that when the conditions are off, there's not as many of them feeding. So you just got to figure out where they're going to be feeding at. That's right. In the last fight, we thought we were going to have a total skunk. And the amazing Murillo pulled it off. And the funny part was he had a carp on, and it was not a monster. He got it right to the bank, and it came off. We're like, oh no. Then we were trying to figure out who's gonna win with sudden death. But anyways, yeah, Murillo pulled it off again. They've been on fire this year. But yeah, so don't get discouraged if you're not catching fish. They're just in a different spot than where you're normally used to fishing for them. The water temperatures in a lot of places are higher. I just heard where it was 100 and some degrees off the coast of Florida. So water temps are higher. They're going to be in different spots. They're going to be doing different things. It's been a very strange year as far as fluctuations and stuff go. So you just got to keep trying to find them. But they will be feeding. There's a catfish eating somewhere out there all the time.
Just if you're going to go out during the day, make sure you understand that it's going to be really a couple of days here in Virginia, probably all over the place. I know it's supposed to be heat index of 114 tomorrow. So
yeah,
stay inside if you can. Stay out of the sun. Be safe. Keep KP in your prayers. He's in the hospital this evening. I'm not sure what's going on. I heard that thank you, JG, for reminding us.
Oh my goodness.
And also, Austin, if you're still in here, do you want to drop the date? I think it's September for the Austin's new tournament. He just came up with. I believe it's full. You want to go out and hit that reminder and make sure that you can watch that. We will be participating in that. Just I got to be able to win a tournament sometime.
I don't know. I thought the same thing.
But if you're out there, stay cool, stay safe. Make sure you go with somebody. That if anything happens, you have a lifeline. But thank you for coming in. Thank you, everybody, for spending time with us. We really appreciate it. September 16th, 6 p.m. to midnight. Someone can always drop out. See, so you never know. There may be a spot available. So keep checking with Austin. His channel is on his channel page. It is full at this point, but just keep checking if you're interested. Yes, sir.
And that just reminded me of something. And I see Agent Murillo out there. Look for something in the works for Stand Day. We might have a couple of big things. Speaking of tournament type things. So everybody is welcome to fish Sunday mornings on Stand Day between the hours of 9 and noon. Whoever has the most points at noon is declared the winner. And, it's been just a big congratulations, but there may be some other things coming up. So we'll see. We'll see. Exactly. My wife just said, "What the hell are you talking about?" See, she doesn't even know. So thank you, Agent M. But so we'll see you. If you want to fish with us on stand day morning, contact me at twostanchfishing@gmail.com and we can get you on there, and so you can get involved with it.
There we go. On that, we're going to say goodnight. Hope everybody has a safe and wonderful weekend, and we will talk to you next week. Later.